Welcome to Backstage Pass with Gail Davis, your invitation into the world of keynote speaking and event planning expertise. Join us as we pull back the curtain and dive into exclusive interviews with speaking industry experts. From seasoned speakers to master event planners, we're here to provide you with the ultimate backstage experience. Get ready to unlock valuable insights, tips, and strategies that will elevate your events and leave your audience inspired. Welcome back to Backstage Pass. I am your host, Gail Davis, and if you are looking for a speaker or an MC who can light up your stage, electrify your audience, and leave them walking away ready to conquer uncertainty, this episode is for you. Today's guest is Judi Holler, and Judi is a keynote speaker, a best-selling author, a podcast host, and an improv-trained powerhouse. I love that string of words, an improv-trained powerhouse. And she teaches audience how to transform fear into fuel, uncertainty into opportunity. And her signature talks help individuals and teams show up braver, more confident, and ready to lead themselves. Judi, I'm so glad you're here.
Same. I could not. This has been on my calendar for a while, and I was like counting down the minutes. You're one of my favorite humans, and just also women in business. Let's be honest. So cool. I'm so glad to be here.
Well, talk about perfect timing. I know it has been on your calendar and my calendar for a while, but you just nailed it. And there is no other word than nailed it for our client, EOS Worldwide. And I'm throwing out all the original questions I had because I really want to start here. It is so top of mind. It's all the buzz here at GDA for sure. And this podcast is aimed and geared to serve event planners. That's why we call it the Backstage Pass. So I thought this was an incredible example of what goes into visualizing, creating an event, and how we made this selection. They had not previously used an outside MC. So I thought we would talk through it on our end, your end. What happened that made this such an incredible success? How does that sound?
I love it. It sounds so good. I love that we're going to unpack this beautiful Pandora's box.
I love it too. So what I'm so excited about, Judi, is unpacking this and really sharing with those event planners out there how this process went down. So I went back and I found the original email. So it's from our client, and she says, I believe, and she was new in her role, I think, because we had worked with someone else in the past. She says, I believe in the value and engagement of a professional MC and what they bring to an event. They can pull it all together. They can get the audience psyched about what they're learning and what's next. Here's my quick list of what I'm looking for. Diversity. We'd love a female. We'd appreciate someone willing to learn about our audience. We'd love it if she would walk the conference live and bring back bits to the stage about what's happening. So that was the original request. And of course, we love the fact that when you have talked to us and shared your whole thinking on your feet, the whole improv. So that's how you came to mind. I then saw that there was a next email where they were fleshing it out. And you know, we have a seat at the table and we try to help them design their conference, in some instances more than others. But this person really had a vision. So it started out, and I'm eager to hear where it ended, but she said, on Thursday, the MC, still unknown at this point, will welcome and intro the opening keynote, send people off to the breakouts, introduce the closing keynote, send people off to the reception. On Friday, introduce the closing keynote and close the event. And I read that and I thought, that sounds really simple. I mean, I think I could have done that, right? So first of all, just how does that compare to what you really did?
We're over here laughing because, that's the nuts and bolts of it, right? That's like what's we put in a contract. Here's what I
Yeah,
want to contract this person for.
yeah.
But what ended up happening, sure, that's what we contracted. That's what we contracted. Yep. Sit on a couple calls. I think we contracted 2 calls. You're going to be on stage from this time to this time on Thursday, this time to this time on Friday. We'd love for you to be involved and get to know the audience as we do. We customize, we curate. As a pro, you should know your audience and you shouldn't phone it in and you should be awake to what's going on in the organization. So it was a very nuts and bolts contract. But what happened was, I'm not a nuts and bolts kind of girl. Um, I, I am, an improviser, and I feed off of the heartbeat of an ensemble. So I think the most transformational thing we did and what separates sort of how I operate and the way I approach any of my work on stage is that I get into ensemble with my client and we build a relationship. And I think the key to longevity, and if you're listening, turn up the volume on this part, because this is, I think, what led to the success on stage at EOS, and certainly what I feel contributes to a lot of my success on stage and in business, is this. The key to longevity truly is openness. Openness. What could be here? And when a client asks you something, it's not, well, that's not how I do things, or that's not what I do, or no, oh, that's a mountain we got to go up. Oh, I don't climb mountains. Nope, 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 not me. No, instead I go, oh, okay, we got a mountain. I guess we're going up a mountain today. Who's got a backpack? Okay, cool. Okay, so maybe we're doing this. So I am a very open. It's yes and. It's not a victim. It's things are happening for me. And so I really worked with the team in that way. And so the other secret to my success, and because I'm open, I'm going to share it on the air. One of the things that has made me really successful in business is that I underpromise and overdeliver. So I'm going to get on site and I'm going to run around with your social media team. We're going to take the camera. I'm so natural there. I put me on camera. Let me activate in these exhibit booths. Let's go meet your exhibitors. We walked through that entire show floor and I met every single sponsor. So when I was talking about them on stage, I could call out people's names. I could get to know, we were high-fiving in the hallways. So I really, Gail, to land the plane, like openness, getting an ensemble with my client, not under promising and over delivering, surprising and delighting them with that sense of urgency, because most people don't. Most people don't.
Mhm.
That's not my
Well, I have
contract.
to tell you how I was experiencing it.
Okay.
So I use EOS in my business. It has been a
It's
complete game
incredible.
changer. I mean, just complete. And for those that are listening that are, what in the heck is this EOS? It's the Entrepreneur Operating System. And it's really created for visionaries, people
Yeah.
who had an idea. I mean, some people have read the E-Myth about the gal in the pie shop, and she was really good at making pies, but she didn't know how to run the business. And this often happens with people like myself. You have this idea, you have this concept, you pour everything into it, and then you realize, ooh, I get kind of bored with systems. I don't really know how to implement all this stuff. And so when you get the EOS system in place and you find the right person, which I am so blessed, and
Integrator.
I have my integrator, yes, and I have a great team, and it's really because she's so great. So therefore, it's a game changer. I was in Hawaii at an EO conference, Entrepreneur Organization. I'm not going to say everybody in EO uses EOS, but a lot of people do. And unfortunately, the EO Global Leadership Conference dates overlapped EOS worldwide.
Uh-huh.
So I'm in Hawaii and everybody's social media is blowing up with Judi Holler, who's walking the halls, hyping that conference. And they're like, Dad gummit, how can we make sure these conferences don't overlap? I want to be there. And it's
So
not
cool.
for every client. Obviously, I have corporate clients that are like, we don't really need the speakers to do a lot of social media. But for an event where people choose to attend, pay to attend, and you're
Different.
trying to attract attendees, if there was anybody that didn't go to this conference, yet followed it on social media, I can confidently say I think they'll be there next year. I told Karis, I said, Karis, I'm sending you.
Gotta
You need to be a
go.
part of
Yeah.
this magic.
Same. Yeah. There's a lot of people in my network that were like, oh my God, I didn't even know they did a conference. I'm signing up next year. And I'm like, that's amazing. That's how it should go. But you make a really good point. It's not for everyone. Like you have to, it has those publicly attended, those open events where people, they're trying to really generate excitement and create buzz. I mean, you want to get someone who's comfortable in that space. And I think as an MC, if I am hired in that capacity, I really look at like myself as like a host, like a hostess, a guide. Like I'm kind of the guide, right? I'm this sort of red thread throughout the event that can answer questions. I'm like an extension of staff. Like I really felt like I was an extension of staff. And I think that is and they let me be that. They let me own that. They trusted me as a creator. They trusted me and they gave me what was so cool because I built trust. They gave me a mini keynote, Gail. So they understood who I was as a performer because I 80% of my life is motivational keynotes and they know I've got a body of work. And so they said, no, 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 we're going to give you stage time. And so I got to open with like an idea and then we rove that through the event knowing what the other so they really gave me a seat at the table in such a powerful way. I was in the program and on the website and not just an afterthought. I was like a forward thought, right? And so they set me up for that.
I love the comment you made. They trusted me as a
Yeah,
creator or
yeah,
creative.
creative.
And that's so true because I've seen clients try to micromanage the messaging of a creative, and it's just a disaster.
Yes.
But you do have to have that trust. And I think it comes from another note. I did a deep dive on this.
Ooh, so
So,
fun.
again, before we picked you, the client asked, can you also talk to me about her willingness and ability to learn EOS so that she can attend more breakouts and do more pulling together from the big stage? We want to make sure she understands our language. And so VTOs and accountability charts and uh, L10 and all those terms that we all use. How did you go about learning that? How did you prep? Because it is a unique, I don't think you had used EOS personally, had you?
I'm one of Gino talked about this on stage that they made a really conscious decision to, like, he talked about knowing who you're for and really having a niche. And as an entrepreneur, so when he gave his address, one of the things he talked about was the fact that a lot of people have told Gino along the way that Gino is the creator and the godfather of EOS, one of the founders of EOS. And he was talking about how they made a very clear, conscious decision that they are for businesses between 10 and 250 employees. And they have been approached so many times to go big and to go small and scale. And he's like, those people can come. Great. But here's who we are for. So I am in that lower 10% where my business is well under 10 people. So I have read
Sure.
the books. I had already, before you brought me the lead, I was kind of fangirling. I have
Are you
traction. I have
serious?
rocket fuel. Yes. So we agendas. I'm like, I do not sit on meetings without agendas. Like I think it's such a and that's my meetings industry background. So keep in mind, I also for the event planner listening, and I come from a meetings background too. So this helps me as an MC because I understand a show flow. I understand how the bones of an event work because I built a career in that business. So when I was building my business, I did use so I was a little bit of a fangirl coming in. So that helped me because I knew some of it. But I also knew that I wasn't hired to be the expert. I let myself gave myself the permission to let go a little bit too. And the improviser in me had to let go of control because nobody on stage expects me to be the expert. They're not hiring me to be an EOS expert. I am there to pump energy and oxygen into the
Yes.
agenda. I am there to make everybody that is coming on stage feel really comfortable and look like the stars of the show and to keep things on time and to keep things exciting and to just sort of support the overall. So I guess I just let the pressure go. It's like I knew my stuff, but I was not expected to be an expert. I could talk the language,
Yes.
but no one expected me to like understand, right?
Right. That's
Everything in
true.
depth, right? But I knew enough to be dangerous. But I came in with some expertise, which was helpful. If not, I would have spent more time probably reading through a book or listening to an audiobook or getting into somebody's podcast to sort of get prepped on site for the experience because it's a lot of language and it's it is like a cult like, and I mean that with love, a cult like following. I mean these people are so in love with the operating system that EOS provides, and they should be because it's spectacular.
Yeah. We're going to, when we put the final podcast version together, we're going to edit in the, what would you call it? The video that you did for the client where you were asking, I mean, not, what would you call it? The I want to
In
work
my
with you
school,
video.
oh, the work where you video. Oh, I forgot we did that.
Yes. Is that what it's
Right.
called? Work for you?
Well, I think it's more just like it's a consideration video, a consideration. Sometimes we send these
Yes.
out, for our clients that are considering us. Like you're looking at five MCs. Hi, I'm Judy. Like here's what's going on, and here's how I am on. It's just like people can meet you. I think that's what you're talking about, right?
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. It's so good. So we're going to edit that in because I want people to see also you wanted the job.
I
You
did.
know, you really wanted it.
While keynote speaking is my superpower, working as an event MC, moderator, and host is a secret weapon I love to use when aligned with the right opportunity. And when I'm hired as an event MC, host, or moderator, I'm a triple threat for a couple of reasons. Number one, I'm a professionally trained improviser. That's right. This means I can think on my feet. I'm like a cat. It also means that I can draw on the power of the ensemble, your audience, to create interactive experiences on any stage. Number two, I am best known for my energy and my ability to energize and engage an audience. My job when working as an MC is to pump oxygen into your script, to bring the words on the teleprompter to life, and to weave together all of the conference red threads to keep the momentum moving on the main stage while supporting your content and overall event goals. Last, but certainly not least, before I became a full-time professional speaker and MC, I built an award-winning 15-year career in the meetings industry, which means that I deeply respect a run of show. I know how to work with audiovisual, and I understand the ins and outs of an event from the front of the house to the back. While I'm best known for my energy, both on stage and off, I pride myself on being easy and fun to work with. You could also consider having me as an opening keynote and then staying on as the event MC to tie all the red threads together and really maximize your on-stage investment. So if you are looking to bring the energy to your main stage and need a pro to keep it all flowing, I'm your girl. Let's work together.
My husband's always telling me that. He's always like, this is like, why are you sleeping on, like, I love speaking, but like at the end of the day, Gail, I'm a guide. Naturally, like, I don't know if you've done any human design work, but in my human design, like packed into my DNA is like, I am here to be a guide, and I'm a really natural facilitator of conversation and energy. And so my husband's always saying to me, he's like, why are you sleeping on this MC stuff? Like,
Wow.
why aren't you doing more of it? And I think there's this interesting extra secret weapon I have that is that combo keynote MC. So now you
Yes.
kind of get this 2 for 1. I'm already here. How do we, so I think there's some interesting things to think about there, but it is something I would say that doing this for you and with EOS has really woke up this sleeping giant in me. And it's been so fun, more rewarding than I would have thought.
And as a former event planner, I mean, I did that on the corporate side for a long time. I
Get it.
understand the hesitation of hiring an outside keyword MC. All the concerns are so valid. Will they create the right vibe? Will they understand our culture? Um, do they even understand what we do? I mean, there's just so
Right.
many risks. So this one
Yes.
is such a success. And one more note, and then I want to just tell you what the final feedback was. But as we were going into it, a note that I found before we finalized everything is they must be high energy. That was so important.
Yeah.
And I think anybody listening to this gets that. How do you keep people in Las Vegas, in Hawaii, heck, in downtown Dallas, in a ballroom that typically has absolutely no windows? They've got their whole life in their palm of their hand. They know what's going on at home. They know what's going on at work. How in the world do you keep them connected? And that's what they were looking for. And I just want to fast forward to the punchline. It was a raving success. They're already talking about bringing you back next year.
Yeah.
And our Brooke, who we love so much, was on site, and she wrote down Judi Holler was a crowd favorite. She brought high energy, professionalism, and genuine connection to the event. Judi isn't just an MC. She's a partner who delivers a standout experience and leaves a lasting impression.
Oh, I love me some Brooke. I tell you, your team is so good. You
Isn't
guys
that
are
great?
it's amazing. And it's a partnership. That's what I'm saying. I'm an ensemble. Like we have to be an ensemble with our clients and our partners. And like I'm just on that mission. Listen, I'm almost 50 years old. I think you get to a certain age and you start to go, you know what? This is the work that's for me. These are the clients that are for me. And also I'm for me. Like I know what's for me now. And you sort of have bring a different confidence to relationships and requests. And you just start to get this comfortability with yourself. And when you're comfortable with yourself, you can be comfortable. I always feel like it's when we're trying to be something we're not, when we're not really sure about, oh God, am I supposed to, oh God, and so I've got this level of confidence that just allows me to sort of be in community with people and in relationship. Like it's not about being a robot, be a human being. And I think people can feel that. And so for her to say the word partnership feels really good. And I'm proud of that. And I feel like that's what happened with EOS too. I not only built a partnership with them, but I made friends, like friends in that room. And I don't know about you, but we hire the people that we like, know, trust, and like adore. All my business, Gail, we did this exercise. We went through all my business. Like I was like reflecting on my Keynote business and how I built it. Like it'll be 9 years this year. And I'm like, how am I getting my opportunities? Because I'm watching my business change and the speaking landscape change so much. I'm like, where has my business come over the years? So we went back from when I started keeping an Excel spreadsheet back in 2017. 96, we did a percentage, 96% of all of my speaking opportunities have come through either spin or a personal referral. It is someone who has seen me, knows me. Almost none of my business comes from like outside randomness. It is
Yeah.
something like a bureau. Somebody has,
Yep.
but even it's just this relationship sort of like, know, and trust stuff that has built my business. And I'm just going to lean into that more and the relationships I have and the trust I already have with people rather than going out cold and trying to win over people that are like, who's this girl? Let's go to the people. It's like, I want more clients just like EOS. I want more people in
Absolutely.
my life just like
Yeah.
you, right? Like women that get it, right? That understand the value I can provide. And that's what it's all about.
Well, I'm very proud of you. And,
Thank you.
it's always so important for a speaker to deliver because that's an extension of our brand. And so we tell the client, we advise the client, this is who you need. And then, it's up to the speaker to deliver, and deliver you did. Is there anything else you'd like to say about emceeing or EOS before we pivot and go and talk more about your keynotes, which is really a lot greater percentage of what you do for sure.
Yeah, no, I think the biggest takeaway there is just to, if anybody listening to this is looking to bring on an MC, holler at your girl. You've got a new friend. If it's the right fit, come check out my page. Let Gail know. But really, truly, look for someone who is going to be open and in community with you and in ensemble with you, and someone who has that open yes and mindset. And I think everybody's going to have a different level. Every group's going to want something different. Somebody's going to want a comedian. So, this one guy, one of the exhibitors did say to me as I was being introduced to all the sponsors, he's like, oh my God, give me one of your jokes. And I go, buddy, if you are looking for a line, I go, I am not a stand-up comedian, right? I go, and then I pull out my phone because I've got jokes. Because if the prompter goes down, if we lose tech, if we're over, if we've got time to kill, the improviser in me always has like a plan A, B, and C. So I have this list of like funny jokes in case I need to kill time on stage, just the really cheesy, but it makes an audience laugh. Long story short, I know who I am and I know what I'm not. And I think decide as an organization what you need and what you're looking for on stage. Do you want the funny? Do you want the funny with substance? Are you looking for interactivity? Are you looking for a female? Are you looking for, a strong male personality? And make sure they are open and willing to not just phone it in, but really get involved and get into the weeds with you on all the on-site activities. Don't just run up to your room. Don't just like on breaks be gone. I was in that ballroom all day long. Like we're on the clock. We're on the clock.
I love
Let's
it.
go.
I love it. You were there to work. I love it.
Good work.
You use the word ensemble, and that's a big improv term. So
Yeah.
let's kind of dive into that a little bit. You are an improv trained performer, and how does that serve you, and how does that um, impact the messages for your corporate audiences Obviously I know how it works in the MC world, but in your keynotes, what role does improv play?
Yeah, I think the most powerful, the way I use improv, and it is powerful, and it is why I use it, is to just really show people, not just tell people what it looks like to navigate uncertainty. No script, no plan, uh, how to navigate that with confidence and live to talk about it. And I remind people, and we can use the tools from improv. I remind people that we're actually doing this every day. I mean, Gail, we have a little script in front of us, but look at, we got on this call today and you're like, um, actually, Judi, we're going to go a completely different direction. Cool. Life is improv. Let's go. And you build that muscle over time. So what I want people doing is building that muscle, because none of us really wake up with a script. You can have a planner full of goals and to-do list items today. You can have a bucket list full of dreams, but like anything can happen at any time. And we can never control other people, places, and or things. We can only control ourselves and what we do next. And that is why improv is powerful, because it's not about being the best, the smartest, the funniest. It's about like the next thing. What am I doing next to keep it moving and write the
Your
story?
typical keynote, you said show them improv. So in your
Oh,
typical keynote, is there some audience interaction? Do you actually do improv as a part of your keynote?
oh yeah. And we did it at EOS too. Oh my God. Have you heard about the auctioneer?
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
wait till you see
Oh my
this
gosh.
keynote.
Did you really give up the boots or the shoes or the jacket or whatever
My
it was?
jacket, no, I didn't, but everybody was asking because it got up to like $1,000. So what I'm trying to share, audience, is that I use improv theater in both of my keynotes and in really my MC work too. It's like one of my little secret weapons. I use it very differently than most professionally trained improvisers. I put more of a motivational, inspirational spin on it, but I pull people up. Well, I don't pull people up; they pick themselves. So I call for volunteers. But at the very end of EOS, we called for a volunteer, and this is probably one of the most powerful improv games I play on stage. It's the most transformational. Most of the time when I do this, certainly in the big rooms, but even in the small rooms, they get standing ovations for this. Like not me, the improviser gets raving standing ovation. So I call for this volunteer and people raise their hand and I look out at the room because I want it to be the right, and I just sort of like let spirit move me. I'm like, okay, I don't know how this is going to go, but I'm like, you, sir. So I pick this person and he stands up and instantly
Completely random.
random. Everybody thought it was set up. So I get this guy on stage and he's going to play a game with me called the ABC game, where we work together and we have to tell a story, or we have a conversation. One sentence at a time, but each sentence has to start with the corresponding letter of the alphabet. So it's a hard game, okay? And we don't start with A. I get a suggestion and then I say, who gave me that suggestion? Me. And I'm like, what's your name? And she's like, Mary. I'm like, great, we're starting with M. So it's not easy. We're getting uncomfortable. We're adding something extra to it to prove that we can do hard things and live to talk about it, right? So we started with M and we're going to have a conversation one sentence at a time. So I would start with, man, I love Disney. He would say, no, I love Disney more. And I'd say, oh my God, Disney's the best. And he'd say, please tell me we're going to come back next year. You get the point. So I get this guy up there and instantly when he stands, so that's the game we're playing. I get him up. So out of a 1 to 10, 10 being the hardest improv game you could play on stage, this is like a 7.5 and an 8. Okay. And I've already been doing improv. So the audience is warm. This is like the last day of the event. I see him stand up and I'm like, oh, he's Amish. This is going to be like, overalls, the whole thing. He's a farmer. He's an Amish farmer, gets on stage. Come to find out, he's also a professional auctioneer. And so the whole audience, because I have him introduce himself to mic check him, here's my name, this is what I do, and I also am an auctioneer, a professional auctioneer. And the whole audience goes, no, and I get nervous. I'm like, I've got a freaking professional auctioneer up here, right? And I'm sweating, but I'm so excited because I'm like, this is going to go one of two ways, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen, right? The audience is leaning in, and this is all on tape. We'll have to post it somewhere. It's so good. So he gets done, he crushes the game, he gets this standing ovation, and we break it down, and we're having this inspirational debrief, and someone in the front row goes, auction us something, auction something. And so they wanted to see him flex his muscle. And I go, they want you to like flex your auctioneer. Are you willing to do that? He goes, let's go. He goes, want to auction your jacket? And I was wearing this like sequin jacket with big pointy sleeves. And so he starts going into auctioneer mode. It was the most incredible thing, and auctions off my jacket for $1,000. I mean, I didn't sell it. I should have, because I think I paid $150 for it. But it was he just brought and then he gets another standing ovation. And it was just the most incredible. And he walked out of there. No one probably noticed this guy moving throughout the conference. I tell you, he was the fan favorite, all over high-fiving in the
Absolutely.
hallways. You can't unsee it and you can't unfeel it. So whether I'm emceeing or using it in a keynote capacity, that's what's happening, because you watch someone transform in front of your eyes. And it not only proves to the person playing the game that, oh my gosh, I can do hard things and live to talk about it, but it shows the entire audience watching that, oh my God, if that farmer, that auctioneer farmer from, I don't know where he lived, can do that, what can I do? And better yet, what am I not doing? Where am I asleep? Where am I not making the moves I should be making? Am I playing it too safe? Am I counting myself out? Like improv can just wake us up and bring us back home to ourselves in such a powerful way. And I think we need that work now more than ever in the world. So that's what I do on a keynote stage. And I will definitely always use it in the improv I will always use it on an MC stage, because you can't beat it. It's this little secret weapon I have. And it was pretty special. So if we can get the tape from that, oh my God, it was so good. It was so good.
I love it. You have a keynote which is called Be the Verb. What does that mean, and how is that relevant to audiences?
So yes, actually that keynote title has evolved recently, and I'm really excited about it. It's one of the things I was excited to tell you about. It's actually called The Transformational Art of Self-Expressionism. And here's why. Hang with me. Because when I first developed this talk, I've been in the lab on this new body of work for like 2 years, Gail. For the first 7 years of my business, I've been delivering a talk called Everyday Improviser. It's awesome. It's like my baby, right? It's so good and it's so strong. And it just, it's a conversation about courage and perspective and life beyond fear and work beyond fear. And it uses improv. It's all this stuff. But I was evolving and changing and shifting and growing. And I knew that my body of work needed to like sort of align with where I was going. And so the talk was initially called Be the Verb, because it was based on this idea that we're mostly taught to sort of lead with the doing, like the strategy, the hustle, the nouns, the plans, all that stuff. But nothing was ever going to happen if we didn't verb. And my last name's Holler by birth. And so we're like, oh, be the verb. That's it. But what I realized and what I now teach is that true leadership, as we've been collecting for 2 years feedback on this talk, is not so much about what you do, it's more about who you are. Because here's what I believe, Gail, and this is the big shift. If you don't know yourself, you can't really be yourself. And if you can't be yourself, how do we know you're effectively leading yourself? So what I've done is I've created the audacity. I'm creating a whole new art form called self-expressionism. And it is this bold, sort of soul-driven new approach to life and leadership that unlocks an individual's creative intelligence and personal truth so that they can like wake up creatively, get really emotionally secure, because people who are self-aware and self-secure do not create drama or become like cancerous cells in organizations. We need people that are like secure in themselves. And they also become resilient result getters because they're confident and they make moves. And here's the last thing I need to say to you on this and why we shifted the name and really what this keynote is here to do. And this work on self-expressionism is here to do. We are standing at the edge of a creative revolution. And experts are saying that this is going to be even more transformative than the Industrial Revolution. World Economic Forum just put a big article out saying that creativity, originality, and initiative are going to be among the top 5 skills needed in the future of work, and that is here across every industry. The problem is that this revolution is colliding with a crisis, a creative crisis. People are so afraid to express themselves for fear of how they'll be received. We are more plugged into the algorithm, our phones, than our own rhythm, and we're watching other people's lives and instead of sort of like living our own. So self-expressionism in this new art form we're sort of introducing into the marketplace isn't just a leadership philosophy for leadership today. It's like a personal liberation strategy paired with a business advantage, right? Because when people come back home to themselves, they're awake, they're creative, they're emotionally secure, and they're aligned with their truth. So they move differently inside organizations. Like they make decisions, they collaborate, they innovate, they're creative. They don't get caught up in office politics and drama. They have less burnout. We have more resiliency and retention inside of organizations. So it's solving a lot of problems and checking a lot of boxes. So I'm really excited about it. And we're listening to the reaction right now out in the world. But I feel really called to be a part of this movement and to really bring the human back home to self so that we can do work and create work and be in working environments that are for us, that are ours. Instead of like, imagine all, like, what if you could wake up all the sleeping giants in your organization? Like, what if Michaela, I'm not saying she is, but what if Michaela actually has a secret passion for code? And she is like your next groundbreaking, like, what if like Karis is actually like a brilliant copywriter and could
Yeah.
redesign the way you guys do your blog, right? You see what I'm saying? So we're
Yeah.
building out a body of work and a whole universe and sort of a whole new art form around how to bring people back to themselves. What does that look like? How do we sort of tap into our own internal human design so we can really align inside of an organization and outside of an
I
organization with
love it.
who we are? It's like breaking the rules a little bit, but like
Yeah.
if there's anybody that's like going to be good at that, I feel
Yeah.
like it's
I like where you started about the difference between doing and being.
yeah.
And someone once told me there's a reason we're called human beings and not human doings. So I love that one. And then I had a business coach who I would be talking to her about a problem and how I was going to handle it and what I needed to do.
Ooh, what do you
And
needed
she
to
would
now?
say,
Mhm.
yeah, she would say, well, how do you want to be?
Ooh, I love
How do you want to
her.
be? And
Yes.
so I have a 3 block walk to work. And a lot of times when I'm walking to work and, I have a conversation I know I have to have, whether it's with a client or an employee, that question will pop up in my mind. How do I want to be? And
Ooh,
I think I love it. I think
it's
this is
about
so
the
good.
becoming. It's about the becoming. I mean, that's my next book. So Gail, my next book's coming out in September. I have a
Maybe we
new
should
book
talk
dropping.
about that.
Okay, you
Hello.
heard it here first. I think this is the first podcast I've ever publicly like spoken on, but I am
An
writing right now.
exclusive right here
And
on
exclusive.
Backstage Pass.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. It drops in September. Date is it cannot fully be announced yet, but it will happen in September, and it's going to be called Holler at Your Dreams. And we're going to be talking about all the tools and resource. We're going to be talking about the art form of self-expressionism, but really, it's going to be a collection of 365 dangerously inspiring ideas to sort of inspire and tune in the wildly creative soul and the person who wants to be more creative and more awake. Because let me tell you, I've been saying this for a decade, Gail. I mean, I built a career, 15 years in corporate I spent before I started keynote speaking. And I've been saying this forever, like happy people, like aligned, happy people, self-aware people do incredible things inside of organizations and out. So why wouldn't we prioritize? Like we love to teach leadership skills, and that's great. But if we are teaching leadership before we are teaching the becoming, then people are leading themselves into spaces and places that aren't for them, and we're having turnover and burnout, and people are miserable.
Yes.
People that are these
Yes.
cancers and these toxic energy vampires, and they're negative. We know these people. We've worked with them. It's because they're miserable. God bless them. Let's bring them back home to themselves so we can cut them loose, or at least put them in the right place. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
we're going to all make more money and have more fun and save more time and just create environments like that just feel really good. And it's going to take time to really to do this because it's not the way corporate or most organizations have thought about leadership. So this revolution is going to stir us up a little bit, but I think those of us that are here to do this work in the world are going to be very glad we did, because I think now more than ever we need to take responsibility for just sort of the future of humanity in the way of how we protect our becoming, and that just makes us
I
more so
love this. I,
deep.
I can't wait to read this book. And,
Can't wait
tying
to say
it back to EOS, one of the topics in the quarterly conversations that you have with your team is GWC. Do you get it? Do you want it? And then do you have the capacity to do it? But what you were
one.
describing, so many people get on this rat race and they don't even want it.
They don't want to be there, and because they're
Or
afraid,
they
because they don't
want it
even know
and they
who they
can't get
are.
it. Yeah.
Right, they don't know who they are, and they're so connected to these. I'm holding up my phone. We're so plugged into the matrix. Like Gail, here's the thing we're discovering. So I've created this Holler framework, and I walk people through the 6 laws of
Hear
self-expression.
about the Holler
It's
model.
so cool. And
Model
one of them,
framework.
yeah, so it's Holler. We're remixing it right now, but it's the 6 laws of self-expressionism. And it's interesting to put laws with self-expression because people are like, wait, hold on, isn't self-expression supposed to be free and amazing? And no, self-expression is not about going rogue because untethered self-expression is really dangerous. So we tether it with rules and laws. Like, look, rules keep people safe, laws keep people safe. It's beautiful boundaries for us to color within and play within. They can always be broken, but we need like a structure, like a rhythm. So we've created like this rhythm for people. So there's some guardrails and a framework they can come back to keep them safe because people don't feel safe to self-express. So we need to make that feel safe. So we give them like a container, you know what I mean? So they holler at it. How do you holler at your dreams, right? Well, you've got to like feel safe to do that. So whether it's you want to run a marathon, you want to be vice president of sales, you want to finally get married, you want to like leave your crappy relationship, you want to, think of all the things, the list of dreams we have that will collect dust if we don't holler at them. We give people a container. And one of the things in the container, I want the R to be, I'm 99% sure this is the direction we're going to take it. It has to be recreation. So it's a fun way to end the model because think of the word recreation, recreate. Okay, so most of us want to recreate ourselves, and you're always recreating and you're always reinventing because guess what? You're growing. And if you're growing, you're doing it right because that means you're changing. And every time you change, it gets uncomfortable because you've never been there before. So we have to recreate, right? But we will never recreate ourselves if we're plugged in and if we're never, tapped out from the system. So this is why, and this is also how you get a perspective in life. You go on vacation, you see the world, you read books, you go see art, you see shows. Like I make art and listening to music. Like I walk around the musical instrument museum. I take myself on these creativity dates weekly, like to go be in my life. Because if you want something interesting, go have an interesting life. But people put that on the back burner. We cancel our own plans first when we get busy. And it's like, oh, no, no. How do we get people back to the power of recreation? Because in recreation, we recreate ourselves because we find ourselves. And if you don't have a perspective, the H's have a perspective. And it comes back to the full circle. So if you're recreating, it gives you perspective. Then boom, we come back to the top. Oh, here's who I am. Here's what I want to be. I mean, perfect example. Improv theater. When I walked into that improv theater classroom at the age of 30, it was for recreation, to have fun, to meet people. I was single. I was like, let's go meet some cute comedy boys. You know what I mean? Like, what did I have to lose? I just moved to Chicago for a big promotion, So I was working in corporate by day, improv by night. And so I'm like, what do I have to lose? I went there for recreation. I could almost like cry. Like, yeah, I just like put this together here on the podcast. Another exclusive drop, ladies and gentlemen. Like, I literally recreated my whole life.
You did.
Walking into that improv classroom 15 years ago changed the direction of my it recreated me. And now I'm recreating her again. And I'm
Oh,
making something new for myself. And I will continue to do that. And that's the point. Like, that's the game. So, like, if I could do anything in this world, like, let's just get people back into their lives.
it feels like we hear the word resilience a lot.
Yeah.
But this is different, but also the same, but I like the recreation aspect of it.
Yeah, it's got a little more, I've never, yeah, certainly resilience is, oh, yeah, that's no mistakes, only gifts. It's like you got to be resilient in the improv theater because you're going to embarrass yourself so many times on stage and you're going to get it wrong and you're going to fail. So we talk about that too, on stage and in my work. But yeah, I could have picked resilience. I could have picked a lot of R words,
No,
but
I no, I like where you've come
this
to.
is it because what it does is play, joy. I say this to my clients that book me all the time. I was like, yeah, we're gonna shut it down and I'm gonna deliver for you. And we're gonna have so many great substantial takeaways. There will be tactical takeaways and there will be substance to this presentation. But I look at the leaders that hire me or the people who are considering hiring me. I go, does anybody want to have fun? Because it's hard out there.
Yeah.
Like it's hard and it's been a hard 5 years for a lot
Oh,
of
you're
us, right?
kidding.
And so what happened to the joy and the play and the fun and all those things that sort of make life the living part of life. And so I think that's why recreation is really important to me, because we deprioritize it. It's the first to get cut off our calendars, but actually I think that should be the inverse, right? I think I would rather, you know what I mean? So I think
Yeah.
recreation, it's the fun. The difference between resilience and recreation is it literally is a joy igniter, and it's like
Agree. I like
a
it.
fun sparker. And yeah.
You remember I told you I was at the conference, the EO Global Leadership
No,
Conference,
so
and we
fun.
had Deepak Chopra.
Fabulous.
And one of the things I wrote down that he said is joy is the only and true measure of success.
Mike
So, in a
drop.
way, your recreation and the recreating is helping people tap into that joy.
Yes, it's like 100%. We just want to wake people up. Like that is the essence of self-expressionism. Like when you live and operate and work like a self-expressionist, you're so kind of in alignment with self. You have a confidence about you, and you have a self-awareness about you, and you have a good self-esteem, so you don't get caught up in the drama. But you also go, "Oh yeah, I'm a self-expressionist. My life is my canvas." And guess what I'm
Yeah,
going to do? Go pick up the brush. And
yeah,
so I'm using pop art. Like I'm using even citing. So I use poetry, pop art, improv. So my slides are, I mean, my suits are all graffitied. Like my whole thing is inspired by like street art and pop art. And I'm even profiling very famous expressionist painters and tying sort of their philosophies on life to like how we can live as like human self-expressionists. It's like, I don't even know where this came from, Gail, but I woke up literally a month and a half ago. And well, I kind of know where it came from. I'll unpack that in the book. Have to be for the book. Those stories are a little bit too long for right here. We'll save
yeah.
that exclusive drop for the book. But I literally woke up 2 months ago and I go, it's not be the verb, that which was, to be honest with you, assigned to me by a brand manager who told me that's what I should say in order to get booked. And I
My
said,
goodness.
see, even me, so I woke up back. So again, coming back, giving away my power. And I said, no, I have to trust. I was born with this verb. Yes, it's a verb. And I love this idea of being the verb, and it's beautiful. But what I'm here for something different. And I think we need to get people dreaming again, and dusting off their dreams. And that could be inside of work and out, because happy people do great things. So I am a student of this work. So I'm taking my own
Which
advice.
makes it so authentic, you
I'm
know?
like a traveler with you. Like when I get on stage as a keynote, everyone's a little different because things are happening in real time. So instead, I'm like a guide, but I'm also like a fellow traveler with my audience. Like I'm
Yeah,
kind of like, you'll
yeah.
never believe what just happened. So 2 weeks ago, we found this thing, right? And so it's really fun because I'm with you. I'm in the lab with you. But aren't we always? Because
Yes.
life is one big laboratory. And so I don't know, I just find that to be so exciting, and I just love this creative revolution, and I just want to be a big part of it. And I just feel really called to redefine the way we look at leadership today. And I think it's going to be fun to play with.
I love it. So, we're clearly going to have you back for a second episode because I have all these things I wanted to talk about that I didn't get to, but two things I really want to cover. One, what types of events are you most often Booked for, we in early January, February, there's a bunch of SKOs, and then we have incentive trips, and we've got leadership meetings, and we've got, the gamut, women's conferences. Where you just said you were in some spreadsheet and you were looking at all your old clients, can you pull out for us what type of an audience you're typically booked for?
Yeah, I think my two talks, while they have similar heartbeats, and I think you're going to see improv and creativity and a conversation about courage. One, everyday improviser, is really designed, I would say it's the safer talk. It's designed for corporate. It's just beautiful and lovely and a little more safe, whereas the transformational art of expressionism is like a little more dangerous by design. And I mean that in a good way, meaning it's for the visionaries, the creators, the edgy leaders. I attract CEOs in a suit, but they're wearing like Chuck Taylors or Nike Air Force Ones, right? These big thinkers, heart-centered, soul-centered companies. And I think that's really where I have the most success, with people who are very open-minded and more creative and open. You'll hear me as a theme. I like to work with people who are open. But I would say, oh my gosh, incentives, big for me. Women's events inside of corporations has been big for me. Young leaders inside of corporations. There's a lot of young leader movements inside of these organizations. The edgy, cool tech companies, entrepreneurs, people who put themselves in rooms, like the big, influence marketers, direct sellers, people who are like EOS was a home run because they all paid to be there. They're not like Bank of America isn't telling them to be there. Like they are like not sitting there with their arm crossed. They're sitting there like this. They're leaned in.
Yeah,
Those are the rooms. I love lean in rooms. Women, young leaders, incentive, hospitality. My background's in hotel,
of course, of
hospitality,
course.
restaurant. So I crush in those rooms because I started working at 13 in the hospitality industry. I started washing dishes and I was a corporate trainer for Hard Rock. And I've just done I think running a bar is how I'm successful in business. Because I just learned, I got my edge from like, being a bartender in the city of St. Louis. Like I learned a lot about life and leadership and how to like be a strong woman when you are in environments like that. And, I think I really crush in rooms that are hospitality driven too, because it's my background. But, I think this is a message for humanity. And if you are ready to have some fun and want energy and inspiration with substance, we're going to have so much fun working together. And I think my keynote is all up to date. All my pages are up to date. So you can kind of decide, and a lot of people will start with like Everyday Improviser. So maybe you start with Everyday Improviser and then you're like, oh, we're going to bring you back and we're going to do, because I do tons of repeat, you'll
Oh,
notice.
that's good to know.
Even with my MC clients, we did this on the sales call. It was my MC clients, usually I'll do 4 or 5 years in a row until they're like really ready. It's crazy. So I do a ton of that, which is like what a gift, what a testament. It's like better than any standing ovation. I say, you want to know here's how you know you have a good talk. You can get any standing ovation in the world. And they're great. And they're so much fun. And I'd be lying if I didn't say that my ego didn't like them. Okay. But you know what my real standing ovation is getting off stage and like people handing me a card and saying, you're coming to my organization. You're coming back next year. I mean, that's like how you know. And that's how I built my
Of
business.
course.
And that's how I'm still
That's
in
absolutely.
business. So, yeah.
So, what do the people who come up to the stage, the attendees, what kinds of things are they saying after they hear you?
I would say the number one thing I hear time and time again, and I love it so much, and this is why I know it so fast. Well, they feel energized, which is always fun.
Yeah, that has to
Um,
be it. Yeah.
but they leave with a bigger vision of what's possible for themselves. And I hear it time and time again. Like they see like, oh, it is possible. Like I can, if I want that role, if I want that position, if I want this, outcome in my life, it is possible, right? So they just leave with a bigger vision of what's possible for them. And then I also think the ultimate compliment is when I have my first book, but I always think the ultimate compliment is when dads or moms come up to me and they're like, oh my God, we got to have our daughters start following you. Oh my God, we're gonna have our kids start like that to me, like
Oh,
like this. It happened at EOS. A couple of gentlemen came up to me. I was standing in the coffee line. They're like, "We just told our daughters about you. We're like, we're buying your book for all of our girls." And I was like, "Are you kidding? I don't have kids of my own, And I feel like I mother in my own way, and I feel like I was put here on this earth, and God sent me in a different way, right? And so when I can like get that, is there a better compliment that someone wants me to be
no,
an influence in their kid's life? I'm like,
that's
okay, Rick,
huge.
like
That's
making me
huge.
cry in the like Starbucks line. So that's the ultimate compliment. Like someone wanting to take my work and share it with a child in their life or a son or a daughter. It's pretty special.
Well, Judy, this has been incredible.
Mm.
And for all you corporate event planners out there, if you want to leave your audience feeling energized
Yeah.
and with a vision, a bigger vision, that's what you said, a
Vision.
bigger vision of what's possible. Who doesn't want that? For
Amen.
everybody at your next event to leave with a bigger vision of what's possible. Judi Holler is your gal, and we would be happy to help facilitate that. Thank you so much, Judi, and we're gonna have you back. There's more to
Can't
talk
wait.
about, and I want to.
Part two.
When the book comes out, we'll have you back.
Let's do it. Sounds so good. Thanks for having me, Gail.
Thank you for joining us on Backstage Pass with Gail Davis. Tune in for more exclusive interviews and pro tips to elevate your events. Don't forget to subscribe and share your thoughts with us. We'll catch you next time behind the curtain on Backstage Pass.